Alright, howdy y'all. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. As always, God bless America. Today's video is coming to you from Devin Gibson. Seems to be a fairly good Christian, and I've been subscribed to his channel for a while, and he done a really good video on Judge Joe Brown with Kamala Harris, with a couple other videos added in. We'll slow it down just a little bit while this girl talks, because she talks fast. So we're going to do it in high speed as possible. Let's go.
Can someone please just give me a valid reason as to why they're voting for Kamala Harris? So far, the only two that I've heard is because she's a woman and she's black.
And certainly you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
You could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
Worked so hard. Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay.
That was not a good professional performance. And then she was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica.
Oh, so Kamala Harris's ancestors owned slaves, but yet she claims to be a black person. Crazy. Y'all need to share this video some more so the word gets out.
And had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
From the exact same people that can't define what a woman is and who send out to judge people based off the color of their skin. Okay, thought we learned our lesson with Obama, but apparently not. Actually terrifying that this is the type of woman that people want as the president of the United States. They want a woman that's known for using her mouth to get to the positions that she's in. And I don't mean public speeches. But then again, based off the morals of the women of the left, not surprising. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against having a woman president, but I'm not going to vote for someone just because they've got a cooch. Especially one that is pro-defund the police and open border. Those are the same ones that say that Trump is trying to take down the democracy and you don't even realize what's happening in front of your own eyes. You now have a candidate that you did not vote for. This has never happened before. All you are is a puppet in their game. I thank you for your service of being a little social justice warrior for the past 4 years, but we don't want that anymore. You want a woman president so bad, sure, that's not one that's going to be a complete embarrassment to our country. When push comes to shove, it's not going to matter what's in her pants or the color of her skin. It's time that you start actually using your brain because we can't afford another 4 years of this. Have a good day.
All right, y'all. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I'm grateful to have you here, and we got a doozy today because once again, we're exposing old cackling heels up Harris. Get used to it because as long as the Lord gives me a platform, we're going to keep peeling back the layers of all her lies and revealing just how evil she really is. I know some of my fellow Christians won't agree, but I highly advise you take a look at Ephesians 5, verse 11, and Ephesians 6, 12, and 13. That's my reason for posting these clips. We can't be afraid to call folks out on their sin. The Lord hates liars. And if you're a real Christ follower, then you need to keep shining a light in the darkness and help to prevent others from being deceived. So I want you to see Judge Joe Brown refusing to bite his tongue when sharing how he feels about the vice president. He dropped some ruthless truth bombs.
But I got to ask you about Kamala Harris. How you feel about her?
She's a piece of shit. I was in California. She lacked professional competence, and she worked on it by hiking up her hemline when she needed influence rather than researching. I was out in California for 15 years doing my show when she was at her peak, and she had a reputation amongst the trial lawyers of being lazy. She just hike her skirt up and try to flirt, and she wasn't that good in the courtroom, if not pretty bad in the courtroom. So I'm not surprised at what she does. She's 60 years old, and I think listening to her word salad and the way she talks, I think she's got early onset dementia and also some problems with menopausal complications. That's that. You see, today is going to be tomorrow. So since it's going to be tomorrow, today we have tomorrow, which is why we are now. Like, what did you say? They have something in mind, but they cannot cognate getting all the way through it, which is why she's famous for this word salad garbage. And she doesn't make a bit of sense.
That actually does make sense. Never thought about it like that, but yeah. Evidently that's why she can't talk. Right.
I think since she's only 60, she's actually on a worse track than Biden was. Biden is 20-some years older than her, and he has been senile for a long time. Now, about 5 or 6 years ago, when did they start ramping up to do this? 2019? Okay, I was saying Biden has been a failure his whole adult career, a second-rate, third-string player. He's in the game, so he wants to make a name for himself. I considered him for years poor urban trailer park trash, and he's a crook. He's a third stringer. Now, what I said he was going to do is he probably wants to claim fame for being the first person to see to it that a woman got to be president. And what I predicted, I'm slightly wrong on it, was that he was going to get in, try to get elected, and if he got one term, try to get elected for a second one. And then halfway through his term, when he had served 2 years, to retire or resign in her favor. So under the 22nd Amendment, what happens is she can serve for the final 2 years for somebody and then be elected twice more. So that woman would be able to serve 10 years, second only to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who got elected to 4 terms before they put the amendment in place so you couldn't. Now, that said, I think, and my major at UCLA was political science, my analysis was, is they picked the weakest somebody they could as a figurehead, somebody who had some apparent minority status, which she does not. And what goes on is that you get her, everybody that is everybody would be afraid to go against her because of what she can pass herself off as. And then you get somebody that's easy to control because she's lazy, because she is becoming incoherent, and because she's always tried to do the casting couch to get where she wants. Now, the problem is that'll get somebody to a certain level quickly. But you can't get past that level if you don't have competence and talent. So my thing about it is if I'm crude about it, in this city years ago, I used to represent a whole bunch of pimps and hoes, and I know a hoe when I see one. And I say this, I don't care, women, you do what you want to do if you want to have recreational sex, but when you do the casting couch or anything else for professional purposes to get paid or advance, you a hoe. And she's old hoe. And the problem is what is she supposed to do? Somebody, one of her sycophant slaves comes up and unwraps her in a carpet naked at Putin's feet, and he says, oh, yeah, I'm Julius Caesar. He said, no, I got better stuff here already. Plus, I don't want you anyway, you old woman. Get on up, you know. Or Xi Jinping, is he supposed to be impressed? She's doing word salad. Well, we're here today because China and the U.S. are here today, and that's why we have to agree on what we're doing here today. Like, fool, what did you just say? You know, did you say anything? And I've never seen such a salacious mess as I've seen out of her.
Great leaders ignite a spark inside their staff. It's why Primetime's movement's so strong. The key is to challenge your employees without belittling them. You give them a purpose, create an environment where people want to show up for work. So when we learned that 92% of Kamala's staff quit, it raised red flags. How could she lead millions of Americans if she can't even lead 50? Gil Duran, who worked for Kamala when she was Attorney General of California, said the experience was unbearable. She was, quote, impossible to manage and took out all of her stress on her staff, usually women and lower-level employees. Gil quit just 5 months into the job. Last straw, Kamala skipped out on a briefing and went berserk on a staff member to the point of tears because she was unprepared. And that tracks with what an unnamed White House staffer told the author, Chris Whipple, in his book.
You think Biden's been a dictator? She's going to be 10 times worse. 10 times worse. Y'all need to make sure you're registered and voting for Trump. He's the only thing that could save this country at this point.
The fight of his life. They told him Kamala, quote, refused to do the kind of preparation that you need to do before going public on a hardcore policy matter. And then she became incensed and outraged when things wouldn't go the way she thought they were supposed to go. Even the interns weren't safe from Kamala's ire. Terry McKeeter, whose son spent months in Kamala's Attorney General's office, said she turned his kid's internship into a summer from hell. He says the interns were told to stand and say, good morning, General, when Kamala walked into the room. And they were told to never, ever address Kamala or even look her in the eyes. That privilege is for senior staff only. Kamala also had a filthy mouth and never met with the interns because staffers were too afraid to introduce them, probably for the best. Look, everybody's had a bad boss at one point or the other, but usually that boss doesn't become president. If 92% of a company's workforce quit, would you keep the CEO? So why would we make Kamala America's CEO?
Kamala, because you guys just ignore the fact that Trump is a convicted felon. Oh, kind of like how you guys ignored the fact that George Floyd was a felon. But okay, it just makes more sense because Trump has a lighter skin shade. Yeah. And in my last video, I asked people to give me valid reasons as to why they voted for Kamala Harris, and still haven't gotten one, actually. So just like we're supposedly just ignoring the fact that Trump's a convicted felon, I hope you know that you're also ignoring the fact that Kamala Harris was the California Attorney General that prosecuted 2 undercover journalists who exposed Planned Parenthood for selling aborted baby body parts.
Boom! Come on.
Protect Planned Parenthood, and the saddest part is that probably doesn't even bother half of you. Have you guys heard of Sean Tillman? Probably not, because that's the guy that was a repeat felon that was released from jail because of a bail fund endorsed by Kamala Harris, who then after being released went on to shoot and kill someone. But you're also ignoring the fact that she blatantly stated that all 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid, who also said that she agrees with getting rid of ICE, and her form of securing the border is politely asking people not to come. How about we go tell that to Lake and Riley? Oh wait, you can't, because she was killed by an illegal alien. And I hope you'll realize how hard the left dug into Trump's personal passing that would have an effect on the way that he ran the country. Oh, but we don't want to talk about the fact that Kamala Harris was sleeping with a 6-year-old mayor of San Francisco when she was in her 20s and somehow ended up with 2 very high-up positions that she was not qualified for.
Willie Brown, that's who she's talking about. She's talking about Willie Brown. Play with me. Listen, if you think anything she says wrong, I'll make a whole nother video and prove it to you. That was Willie Brown she was talking about. And the prosecution and everything she's saying is 100% facts. All right, let's keep going. Keep cooking. She cooking. She cooking over the stove. Roll it.
Funny how that works. So yeah, I'm still waiting on my one good reason to vote for Kamala Harris.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, ring the notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video. If you like what I'm doing over here and you want to show a little extra love and support, make sure you go check out our website down below in the description section. That way you can get all the awesome shirts that you see me wearing in every...
Alright, that's the end of the video. The rest of it's basically just promotions. But yeah, Kamala Harris, if she becomes president, there's going to be a civil war, in my opinion. Like, there's just no way, if not a world war, we're either gonna have a civil war or we're gonna be literally in World War III, in my opinion. Like, she's too dumb to be president. So if you like the video, like it. If you like it a lot, subscribe. Till the next time, God bless y'all.